Welcome in, Irish Nation, to the Golden Dawn Restaurant. I'm Tim Corso here with Coach Dan Reardon, head football coach of the Ursuline Irish. Coach, now 5-1 after that shellacking last week, and I mean that was an expected win, but also a dominating fashion. How proud of you of your team just for going out in that fashion and winning in all three phases?
Yeah, so I mean, if you go back to the Warren Harding week, I thought we played outstanding on both sides of all three phases, and then to back it up against another really good football team in Austintown Fitch. I was extremely proud of our kids' effort. I thought our defense, they've been lights out, and really since opening night, they played extremely well. And again, back-to-back weeks, Harding, then Fitch, two highly talented offenses with a bunch of playmakers, and to hold them both to 0 points is very notable.
And of course, going into those games, their team's combined record, I believe, was 8-1 and a 70-0 total score in those two games. And what's it say about your team, just to play all four quarters, even though you're up big against a team, no matter what their record is, but to put it all together for all four quarters and kind of not let off the gas a little bit?
Yeah. So again, I memean, in starting with defense, it's hard to get a shutout. Period. It doesn't
Right.
matter who you're playing. You have to be. You don't have to be perfect every play, but you have to be sound every play to prevent big plays. And one big pass play, one broken tackle on a run play can eliminate that shutout. And again, to do that 2 weeks in a row, two highly talented offenses with skill players all over the place. Extremely proud of the effort. And in both of those games, both teams had opportunities where they were driving, and our defense, made plays to end the drives. The other night it ended up being twice they settled for field goal attempts, and they missed both of them, obviously. But again, to hold them to field goal attempts and not scoring touchdowns is huge as well. And then at the high school level, it's hard to make field goals, especially
Right.
when you get outside of 30, 35 yards. They're far from gimmies, especially at YSU, where there's narrow field goal posts compared to high school fields.
Collegiately, yeah.
So all that stuff, when you talk about offense, again, our formula is always to spread the ball around, try to involve as many guys as we can, to move the football so the defense can't focus on any one position or any one guy. DC and Devontae both had fantastic games the other night, highly efficient. DC, I think, was 14 to 17 passing, over 250 yards passing. He had 3 touchdown passes, 2 running touchdowns, and those two were the big guys, against Fitch. But the week before was a lot more guys contributing and so on and so forth. But it's been a team effort. It's been all three phases, and proud of how our kids are playing right now.
Right, and you kind of took the words out of my mouth. We always seem to be talking about the versatility of the last few weeks we've been talking, but last week you mentioned DC and Devontae, 5 for DC, 3 for Devontae, and Devontae had over 130 yards receiving. I mean, having a tandem like that can go off any single game, and Devontae, who just, it seems like everyone who gets put on him is kind of like a mismatch.
Yeah, he's a really good football player, and I love his approach. He comes out, he practices hard, he makes plays in practice. He what the fans saw on Friday night is nothing new to our
Routine.
team. Our team sees it in practice, on a weekly basis, almost on a daily basis. Where he makes one-handed catches or tough catches and all those things. But the thing is, if defenses focus too much on him, we have other guys that have the ability to make plays in the passing game as well.
Right, and DC, we talked about early in the year because he was first-year starting quarterback in a while, and he's looked good. And what progression have you seen from him throughout the year? Because he has some good touch on a lot of his passes.
Yeah, he does, and I think he's underrated as a passer. I think a lot of people think he's just an athlete out there, but he threw a couple really nice balls the other night, and he has the ability to do that. He has a strong arm, but he has good touch on his passes when he needs to, and he threw a deep out to Fitch's sideline, which was a perfect pass, and it was in the only place it could have been. He threw it on time. It was placed well, and it ended up being a first down for us. Devontae caught it on their sideline, but that's a tough throw for a high school kid to make, and he has confidence to make it. He has the ability to make it.
All right, and starting with that Harding game and now through the rest of the regular season, a lot of the teams you're facing will have some more size. And, of course, you guys have handled the size well recently. And last game with 3 fourth down runs up the middle that didn't go at all with any of them. But how does that speak to your confidence in your kids? Because, okay, we didn't get the first time or second time, we're going to try it again because you know you can do it.
Well, it also goes into the confidence we have in our defense. So when our defense is playing well, we're more likely to go for it on 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Obviously, if we're closer to the middle of the field, that plays into it as well. But, that was one thing I was disappointed in. Our fourth down efficiency was not very good the other night. And those are situations where, we want to be able to, if it's 4th and 2, we know we're going to be able to run the ball for a first down. We didn't do that the other night, so we have to be better up front. We had a missed assignment on one of the plays and just lack of execution on one of the other ones. So it's stuff that's fixable, but, we have to do a great job as coaches to fix it, and then players have to own it as well.
And now there's St. Vincent-St. Mary this week, and last year was the first time you beat them in over a decade. And so a team that, they're struggling a little bit, but they're always a team that puts up a good fight. Yeah. And so what's the kind of the rundown on them, and what's it going to take to get out of Sandbox Stadium with a 6-1 record come Friday night?
Well, they're first of all, I think their record is a little misleading. That they're a better football team, I believe, than what their record indicates. That they have playmakers at the skill positions. They have a really good receiver that has scholarship offers to a bunch of places. They have a good running back. They play multiple quarterbacks. Some are better runners versus passers and all those things. But, it's a team that we know we can't take for granted just because their season hasn't gone how they wanted it to go so far.
And going back a little bit on the size we were talking about, the last team that had the size Fitch had probably might have been Walsh Jesuit week 1. So going in, those were two very different games. Yeah. Of course, the second one was for the better. And so how did you guys adjust to the size this time around and, get that dominating win?
Well, it starts with opening night. We didn't play great. Our kids own their performance. They've been coachable to fix deficiencies when and where we have them, clean up their mistakes, and it starts with that. If as a player, if you're willing to own your mistake and be coachable to fix it and then work hard to fix it, good things are going to happen. And I think our kids have done that throughout the entire season. But also, I think playing with week 2, we went to Hartley, who was a team who loves to run the football, and we played really good run defense against Hartley. So that gave us confidence, and we just built. We're playing with a lot of confidence now, but it's been building week after week after week.
And a lot of offensive talent you guys will face, and I'm sure your defense has instilled a lot of confidence because of 16 combined points ever since week 1, and that's going out there. And I joked about you guys scored a touchdown the last couple of weeks and won the game. What's it like knowing that?
Well, it's something where. First of all, we don't want to take that for granted because it's hard to do. And I talked about that early in the interview that, if a linebacker slips, if a linebacker blitzes in the wrong gap, all of a sudden it can turn into a big play. And we've been very good about minimizing big plays by our opposition. And, we always feel like if we force them to, they're going to have to drive the ball. They're not going to get it. Cheap, so to speak, a big long pass play or something like that. If we force them to drive the ball, we feel like at some point they're going to make a mistake and we're going to capitalize on it. So, that's been our mantra forever and ever and ever. Our kids are really buying into it this year. But, again, to have multiple shutouts over the past month and playing the level of defense, it's not easy to do. So we don't want to take that for granted. Now, on the other side of the ball, as an offense, there's always mistakes that we need to correct. We could score 100 points and there would still be mistakes that someone made at some point, and you try to minimize those mistakes play as close to perfectly as you can from an assignment perspective, and then it comes down to execution and playing fast and all those things. And we still have a couple sophomores that are playing significant football for us on the offensive line. They're not significant. They're starting, our center and one of our guards. And, they're young football players. They need every rep they can get, just like everybody else does. You get better and better the more reps you have. So from an offensive perspective, there definitely are things we need to clean up and minimize mistakes and unforced errors. And if we do that, we can be a very dangerous team.
And lastly, what's your message to the Irish fans going into the Battle of the Irish on a Friday night?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's senior night, first of all, so we want to honor our seniors the right way, and their parents and their families the right way. So we always want a big crowd. We always want that student section to be hyped up and making noise, and our kids feel that presence. And so the more of our green and gold fans that we can have in the stands cheering for us, the better it's going to be. And again, our kids feed off of that energy. So we love it, and we just need a lot of butts in the seats.
And we'll have the Battle of the Irish on Friday night on YSN from Stanbaugh Stadium. Coach Dan Reardon with me, and you can see the seniors and the rest of the team take the field as it's senior night from Stanbaugh. Thanks for joining me from the Golden Dawn Restaurant. I'm Tim Corso. This is YSN Live.